The Toronto Maple Leafs made an important decision amid their injury struggles. Max Pacioretty was moved to long-term injured reserve LTIR, opening up space for Fraser Minten's call-up. This strategic move allows the team to reorganize their lineup, but it also raises questions about the impact of these absences on the team's performance. What does Pacioretty's move to LTIR mean? According to NHL rules, a player can only be placed on LTIR if it is expected that they will miss at least 10 games in 24 days of the regular season. Pacioretty, listed as week-to-week since November 11th, qualifies for this list. This means he will not be eligible to return to the lineup until mid-December, putting the Toronto Maple Leafs in a tough spot as they manage their offensive lines until then. Pacioretty's injury occurred on November 9th during a game against the Montreal Canadiens. After a legal hit by Canadiens defender Mike Matheson, Pacioretty awkwardly fell and needed help to leave the ice. While the exact nature of the injury has not been disclosed, indications suggest he avoided a more serious injury like an Achilles tendon tear. The impact on the roster and the arrival of Fraser Minten. With Pacioretty moved to LTIR and David Kampf placed on IR, the Leafs created the necessary space to call up Fraser Minten. The young prospect, who had a brief stint in the NHL earlier this season, is showing why he deserves another shot. After recovering from a high ankle sprain suffered in September, Minten has posted strong numbers in the AHL with the Toronto Marlies, totaling 4 points in 5 games. Minten's call-up was not the first choice of general manager Brad Treliving, who preferred to keep the player in the AHL to gain more experience. However, the string of injuries forced a change in plans. Is Minten ready to take on the challenges of the NHL? How injuries are affecting the Leafs. Before his injury, Pacioretty had accumulated 6 points in 13 games, proving to be an important piece for the team. His absence, along with those of Austin Matthews, Max Domi, and Kaye Jarnkrok, leaves the Toronto Maple Leafs in a precarious situation. Despite this, the team has remained competitive, but the difficulty in managing the roster could affect the team's consistency in the coming weeks. Your opinion matters. Fans, what do you think of Minten's call-up? Is he ready to make a meaningful contribution in Pacioretty's absence? And what are your expectations for Pacioretty's return later in the year? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do you believe the Leafs are handling the situation well, or should they make a bigger move in the market? Share your ideas on how the team can remain competitive despite all these injuries. And the conversation about the future of the Maple Leafs continues to heat up, this time with a focus on a name that has a special connection to the team. A fan used the Puck GM tool from the Puckpedia website to propose an interesting trade, bringing Brandon Tanev from the Seattle Kraken to Toronto. The idea sparked debates among fans and analysts. But does this trade really make sense for both sides? In the proposal, the Maple Leafs would receive Brandon Tanev, with part of his salary retained by the Kraken. In exchange, Seattle would receive David Kampf, Alex Steves, and a 2025 second-round draft pick that belongs to Florida. The trade seems balanced. Toronto gets a veteran forward who could offer more depth, while the Kraken gains valuable pieces, including a promising draft pick. What does Brandon Tanev bring to the table? Brandon Tanev, brother of Leafs defenseman Chris Tanev, is in the final year of a 6-year, $21 million contract. He has accumulated 492 games in the NHL, with stints with the Kraken, Penguins, and Jets. This season, he has registered 5 goals and 3 assists in 19 games, numbers that suggest a solid presence, especially on the third line. This family connection also adds a special touch to the narrative. Chris Tanev, who signed with Toronto this offseason, commented on the childhood dream of wearing the Leafs jersey, something he now shares with his brother. This could bring a renewed energy to the team. What do you think? Could this brotherly connection impact the team's performance? What would Toronto lose? From Seattle's perspective, the proposal is interesting for different reasons. David Kampf is a reliable defensive center, excellent on the penalty kill, but he hasn't contributed offensively this year. 0 goals and 3 assists in 18 games. He's still under contract for 2 more years, which could attract other suitors. Alex Steeves, at 24, is a promising forward looking for more playing time. Something the Kraken, a rebuilding team, could offer. And, of course, there's the second-round pick, which would be the main attraction for Seattle. This raises a question. Should Toronto give up future assets for depth and attack now? Do injuries increase the need for a move? The pressure to reinforce the roster grows as the Leafs deal with key absences. Austin Matthews, one of the team's cornerstones, remains out indefinitely. Interim coach Craig Berube acknowledged that while Matthews' condition has not worsened, his return still has no set date. Additionally, Max Pacioretty will be out for a few weeks, while Kaye Jarnkrok underwent surgery and won't return for several months. Still, Toronto maintains a solid record with 11 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties, sitting in second place in the Atlantic Division. The team is holding its ground, but how long can they keep this up without reinforcements? In your opinion, fan, would bringing Brandon Tanev be a strategic move or an unnecessary risk? Could he help cover the absences and push the team toward the playoffs? Or would it be better to save resources for a more impactful trade? We want to hear from you. Who should Toronto prioritize in the trade market? And what do you think about the idea of seeing the Tanev brothers play together for the Leafs? If you like this content and want to stay updated on all the Maple Leafs news, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss anything and will keep being part of the conversation about the future of our team.